They're so it's like being self-compassionate is like that's how you actually can help other people even more than you would if you weren't self-compassionate. So if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for the other person. Like, do you care enough about them,
Mhm.
even if you don't want to start with caring enough about yourself almost?
Mhm. Well, and we know that one begets another. The more we are compassionate in the world, we have the capacity to care for ourselves. And actually, in fact, we can continue to care outwardly, but get exhausted. In fact, if we don't include ourselves in the circle of compassion, we just won't have enough capacity. Like this is where that concept of burnout comes, or compassion fatigue. I had the privilege once of learning from who I think is one of an incredible researcher and doctor, Dr. Gabor Maté. And I remember he's done a lot of work in trauma and addictions, and I was in a room with 300 other caregivers, so parents, doctors, teachers, counselors, therapists, social workers. And he looked at all of us and he said, compassion fatigue doesn't actually exist. And you could feel this whole room go like, are you kidding me? Like all I do in the world is give to other people. And that's what compassion often feels like. It's feels like we're giving a lot. But compassion is it's a positive emotion. When we do it in a positive
Mm,
way, we actually get a positive response. It's part of our brain that elicits, dopamine and oxytocin, the part of our brain that feels good. And the reason we feel fatigued by it is we're not actually staying in a compassion. We're giving in a non-loving way. And the only way, and this is one of those moments where he sort of mic dropped for me, he said, you don't have compassion fatigue, you have self-compassion fatigue, actually. Is
mm.
that in those times, what you're not doing is you're not really
Replenishing.
true replenishing, loving yourself up.
Mm,
It's that metaphor of putting your own oxygen
right.
mask on. The only way we can show up for everybody else as parents, as teachers, as like any person who considers themselves a caregiver in our world, we need